wife and I found him lying dead in the yew alley, face downward.
What did you do then?
I hurried across the moor to fetch the doctor, Dr. Mortimer. He was at dinner with Miss Stapleton and her brother.
Very well, Barrowman. That's all.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Mortimer, to what do you attribute the death of Sir Charles?
Heart failure, sir. I might add that for some time Sir Charles was in a highly nervous state. Worried. Something was preying on his mind.
And did he confide to you what was preying on his mind?
Well, no.
Well, then what about those footprints, Mortimer? As though Sir Charles had been tiptoeing back towards the house. I examined them myself, and as a man of science,
So did I, Mr. Stapleton. More likely Sir Charles was running.
Running? Running from what?
If you please, gentlemen, one at a time.
Why don't you tell the truth, all of you? Tell all you know.
Silence, Mr. Franklin. You've already testified you were not there and know nothing whatever of this matter.
Nevertheless, I insist he was murdered. Murdered, I tell you.
That will do, sir, that will do. There were no marks on the body of any kind, Dr. Mortimer?
None.
Then, as his physician, what would you say was the cause of Sir Charles's death?
Most emphatically a heart failure, sir.
Such, then, gentlemen, is the verdict of this coroner's court.
Call it what you like. Sir Charles was murdered. There's more than one person in this room knows I speak the truth.
I'm blessed if I know why on earth you want all these clippings about this Baskerville fellow.
I've an idea, Watson, that young Sir Henry isn't destined for a very long existence in this world.
What?
My conjecture is that he'll be murdered.
Murdered?
It'll be very interesting to see if my deductions are accurate.
Oh, Mr. Holmes, while you were out, a gentleman called to see you and left this.
He asked you to give it to me?
Oh, no, sir. He just left it by mistake, I imagine.
Uh-huh. Dr. Mortimer?
He didn't leave his name, sir.
No, it's here on the stick, Mrs. Hudson.
Oh, is it? I didn't notice.
Do you know any Dr. Mortimer, Watson?
Well, what did he want?
He didn't say, sir.
What do you make of it, Watson?
Why should I make anything of it? The fellow came to see you.
Ah, but what kind of a fellow? Let me hear you reconstruct him from his walking stick by our usual method of elementary observation.
Well, I should say that Dr. Mortimer is a successful man, well esteemed.
Good. Excellent.
I should say that he does a great deal of his visiting on foot, because the iron ferrule is worn down.
Perfectly sound.
Let's have a look at this inscription. From his friends of the CCH. CCH. I should say that's the something or other hunt.
Really, Watson, you've excelled yourself.
Has anything escaped me?
Almost everything, my dear fellow.
Huh?
A present to a doctor, I'd say, is more likely to come from a hospital than a hunt. And when the letters CC are placed before the hospital, the name Charing Cross Hospital rather obviously presents itself.
Oh, you may be right.
Furthermore, I'd say the Dr. Mortimer had a small practice in the country and was the owner of a dog.
How can you tell that?
Quite simple. From the teeth marks. Look, you can see for yourself. A rather large dog, I'd say. And unless I'm mistaken, Dr. Mortimer will call on us again in a few moments.
Rubbish, Holmes. Rubbish. How the devil can you deduce that?
Well, as he left his stick, isn't it reasonable to presume that he'll come back and get it?
Dr. Mortimer, sir.
Mr. Holmes,
Yes. Come in, Dr. Mortimer.
I took the liberty of calling upon
And
you.
left your stick.
Oh, so I did. Thank you so much.
A presentation, I see.
Yes, sir, from Charing Cross Hospital.
This is my friend, Dr. Watson.
Of course.
How do you do, sir?
Mr. Holmes, you're the one man in all England who can help me.
Well, won't you sit down?
Thank you. A friend of mine is in grave danger.
May I inquire his name?
Sir Henry Baskerville, heir to the estate of Baskerville Hall. I'm in mortal fear Sir Henry's life will be snuffed out.
Why, what makes you think that?
I have information which leads me to believe that for centuries past, every Baskerville who's inherited the estates has met with a violent and sudden death.
But as I recall it, Sir Charles died from natural causes, heart failure.
Apparently. That was the verdict of the coroner, in which I, as Sir Charles' physician, concurred. But there was one point which I kept back from the police, from everybody.
Yes?
About 50 yards from where Sir Charles fell dead were footprints.
A man's or a woman's?
Mr. Holmes, they were the footprints of a gigantic hound.
A hound? Well, why didn't you report it?
Not a soul would have believed it. During the night it rained, and in the morning the marks were completely obliterated. But I saw them as clearly as I see you. And then, a few days ago, as one of the executors of the estate, I found this old document.
Legend of the Hound of the Baskervilles.
Let me read it to you, Mr. Holmes. It's quite short. I won't bore you, I promise.
Yes, please, go on.
In the time of the Great Rebellion, about 1650, Baskerville Manor was held by Hugo of that name, a profane and godless man. One Michaelmas, this Hugo stole down upon a neighboring farm and carried off the daughter of the house. He locked her in an upper chamber, and while Hugo and his friends were carousing, as was their nightly custom,
Such a cuddlesome little wench never existed before, I swear. Cheeks soft as velvet, a form so wondrously rounded. Tell us more.
What happened then?
Where was I?
Her form, you were saying.
Oh, yes. No need to cry out, I told her. Hugo will not hurt you. With that, I whisked her up on my saddle, covered her with my cloak, and we were off like the wind.
You brought her here?
To the manor? Where is she?
Go fetch her, Hugo.
Easier said than done, eh, Hugo? How can he fetch her if she isn't here?
Oh, she isn't, eh? Come on, I'll show you.
I'll take a look.
She's really in here? May we come in, my sweet? These drunken sots would give Hugo the... There is no girl. Gone! Gone! Out of my way! What ails him?
Hugo, devil, what did it...
Jim! Get in! Yes, Sir Hugo. What's wrong, sir? She's gone, the wench. Well, don't stand there gaping. Go bring my mare. What's wrong? I've never seen him in such a rage. Where's he gone? Let's follow him.
Let's go, Roderick.
Farewell.
Come on, Matthew.
Hold the stirrup, you blockhead. I'll give my soul to the devil for that wench. You hear how he pledged his soul to the devil for that wench? Well, may he find her and wed her, then the devil will have his soul.
on and on they rode, until suddenly they came upon the body of the girl.
Dead.
Then, from just over a rise, they heard sounds so hideous that the blood froze in their veins. And looking up, they beheld... Before we could get at him, Sir Hugo was dead. His body literally torn to shreds. Such is the history of the Hound that has cursed the Baskerville family ever since, many having been unhappy in their deaths that have been sudden, violent, and mysterious. Well, Mr. Holmes?
Interesting. Very interesting.
What do you think?
I don't know.
But Sir Henry's arriving from Canada tomorrow. Please understand my dilemma, my responsibility. I was Sir Charles' best friend. My duty is to protect that boy. If I should take him down there to Baskerville Hall and anything happened to him...
What I'd suggest, Dr. Mortimer, is that when Sir Henry arrives, you bring him here.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Holmes. You don't know what a load you've taken off my mind. Good night, Dr. Watson.
Good night, sir.
You've left your stick again.
Oh, thank you.
By the by, Dr. Mortimer, you have a dog.
I have no dog.